Or OSLC truth behind Mary Cosby's church and cult scandal. What is the truth behind RHOSLC star Mary Cosby's church and alleged cult scandal? There have been many stories that have come up about it, but what is the clear and true story? More so, what part did Mary play in it? Keep reading for further details. Truth behind Mary Cosby's church and cult scandal. Mary Cosby has played a controversial role on RHOSLC as she is married to her step-grandfather, Robert Cosby. This may seem strange to outsiders, but she claims it was part of her grandmother's will, therefore she could not argue. They'd have a son, Robert Jr., who has struggled with addiction, but Mary was right by his side, ready to love and support him no matter what. She did get demoted to a friend role for season 4, but was back in a full-time capacity for season 5. Fans have adored her since day one as she holds nothing back and always sets people straight. However, her church has come under fire, but what part, if any, did she play in it? Mary is the First Lady of the Faith Temple Pentecostal Church. Yet, according to Mio, she just filed a lawsuit against her financial experts. Annie L. Johnson and Sean Turner handled all of the money for her and her husband when it came to the church. So what is the lawsuit for? She has accused them of forgery and are being sued for $6.3 million. Additionally, Annie and Sean took church funds for their own use, including credit card bills. Aside from that, Mary Cosby has been accused of running a cult via the Faith Temple Pentecostal Church. It was her mother who made these accusations against Mary. She took time off from RHOSLC due to these allegations and other instances. Furthermore, the church was supposedly closed because of the claims. However, they maintained it was because of the pandemic. The website says, when services resume, and then lists prayer times, yet nothing is updated as of now. Fans have spoken out about all of this when it first happened. Mary was not innocent. RHOSLC spoke out when the cult situation first came up, and they did not feel that Mary Cosby was necessarily innocent in all of it. They also pointed out that it was not in Mary's grandmother's will for her to marry Robert. Mary's entire family was running the cult. I don't think Mary is an innocent victim in everything. I do believe she was groomed to keep up her grandmother's con and skipped her mom to the front of the line. Mary's grandmother was in her 40s when she married a 20-something Robert Sr. It's all a hot mess. According to the two attorneys on Bravo docket, it is said to have been the grandmother's will for them to marry. Notice her will and not in her will. Those were Robert's words. There are also a lot of questions about why Mary and her mother were estranged. Mary's mom did not want to marry Robert, but she did want the church, so that was an issue. As the snow-capped mountains of Salt Lake City gleamed in the backdrop of another season of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, whispers about Mary Cosby's church grew louder, their echoes rippling through the fragile alliances of the cast. Mary, the enigmatic and polarizing housewife, had been a lightning rod for controversy since her debut. But this season, the whispers weren't just background noise. They were front and center, threatening to upend her carefully curated image as the woman of God and leader of the Faith Temple Pentecostal Church. The genesis of a scandal. The allegations started innocently enough, murmured in dimly lit confessionals and gossip sessions. Mary's church isn't just a church, Whitney Rose teased in one episode, her expression caught somewhere between disbelief and glee. People are saying it's a cult. The word hung in the air like a storm cloud, ominous and unrelenting. Mary, who often dismissed criticism with her signature mix of aloofness and unfiltered quips, seemed unusually rattled. People love to talk about what they don't understand, she shot back during a reunion teaser, her voice tinged with both defiance and wariness. But what didn't sit right with the other housewives, and increasingly, viewers, were the stories coming from former church members. Accounts of manipulation, financial exploitation, and bizarre rituals painted a picture more akin to a Netflix true crime documentary than a Sunday service. Inside Faith Temple Pentecostal Church, Mary Cosby inherited her position as the church's leader in a way that already raised eyebrows. When her grandmother, Dr. Rosemary Redmond Cosby, passed away, Mary not only stepped into her shoes as the spiritual leader, but also married her step-grandfather, Bishop Robert Cosby, to maintain control of the family's empire. It was my grandmother's will, Mary explained in one emotional moment during season 2. She wanted to keep everything in the family. While her co-stars struggled to mask their discomfort, Mary defended her actions, asserting that her unconventional path was a testament to her obedience and faith. The church itself was as much a mystery as Mary. Housed in an unassuming building, Faith Temple Pentecostal boasted a devout congregation that revered Mary as a spiritual conduit. Members claimed she possessed a divine gift, an ability to heal, prophesy, and bring them closer to God. But for some, the price of proximity to the divine seemed suspiciously steep. The allegations, former congregants began to speak out, alleging that Mary's church demanded more than just spiritual devotion, it demanded financial sacrifice. Ex-members described being pressured to empty their bank accounts, sell their homes, and take out loans to contribute to the church's coffers. One particularly chilling account came from a woman named Lisa, who shared her story in an exclusive interview. "We were told that if we didn't give everything we had, we were betraying God," she said, her voice trembling. Mary said that blessings only come to those who sacrifice, and if we questioned her, we were questioning God himself. Another ex-member recounted an incident where Mary allegedly singled out a congregant during a service, accusing them of harboring demons. It was humiliating, they said. People were terrified of falling out of Mary's favor because she had this way of making you believe your salvation depended on her approval. Mary, for her part, vehemently denied the allegations. "I've never forced anyone to give me anything," she declared during a fiery sit-down with Andy Cohen. "People give because they want to. They believe in what I'm doing." The Housewives weigh in. As the scandal gained traction, Mary's castmates found themselves divided. Lisa Barlow, always one to fan the flames of drama, called the allegations disturbing and demanded answers. "If this is true, it's not just a scandal, it's a crime," she said during a cast dinner that quickly devolved into chaos. Whitney, ever the investigator, took it upon herself to dig deeper, enlisting the help of a local journalist who had been following Mary's church for years. "This isn't about taking Mary down," Whitney insisted in a confessional. "This is about protecting people who might be getting hurt." Heather Gay, however, was more conflicted. As someone who had left her own rigid religious community, she empathized with Mary's followers. "Faith can be a beautiful thing, but it can also be weaponized," she mused. "I just don't know where Mary's church falls on that spectrum." Mary's defense. Faced with mounting scrutiny, Mary decided to address the allegations head-on in an explosive mid-season episode. Gathering the cast in her lavish home, she delivered a passionate monologue that left her co-stars stunned. "Do you know what it's like to carry the weight of an entire congregation on your shoulders?" she began, her voice breaking. "People come to me broken, desperate, and looking for hope. I give them that. I've sacrificed my life to serve God, and now I'm being punished for it." She went on to claim that the accusations were part of a coordinated effort to tarnish her reputation. "Jealousy is a powerful thing," she said, locking eyes with Whitney. "You don't know what it's like to have the kind of anointing I have. It's not easy being chosen." While some of the women seemed moved by her words, others remained skeptical. "Mary's a master manipulator," Lisa whispered to Meredith Marks as they sipped their cocktails. "She knows how to play the victim." The fallout. As the season unfolded, the controversy around Mary's church only intensified. A bombshell report surfaced, alleging that the church's finances were under investigation by local authorities. Though no charges were filed, yet Mary remained defiant. In the season finale, she delivered a sermon that felt as much for the cameras as it was for her congregation. "God is my judge," she proclaimed, her voice echoing through the sanctuary, "and I will not be silenced by lies and gossip." For Bravo, the scandal was a double-edged sword. On one hand, it brought unprecedented attention to our HOSLC. On the other, it raised uncomfortable questions about the network's responsibility in platforming potentially harmful figures. The bigger picture. Mary Cosby's church scandal is more than just a storyline, it's a lens through which to examine the intersection of faith, power, and reality television. Whether you see Mary as a charismatic leader or a cunning opportunist, one thing is clear. Her story has struck a chord. For her devotees, Mary is a beacon of light in a dark world. For her critics, she's a cautionary tale about the dangers of blind faith. And for the viewers, she's a reminder that in the world of the Real Housewives, truth is often stranger than fiction. As the credits rolled on another dramatic season, one question lingered: who is Mary Cosby really? The answer, like Mary herself, remains tantalizingly out of reach.